India is expected to grow at around 7%, even when the world is struggling with wars, inflation, and slowdown. Inflation is at a historical lows, forex reserves are at record highs, and service plus startups are driving a new growth story. But what does all of this actually mean for you as a student, investor, taxpayer, or just a curious citizen? Stay with me because in this video, we'll break down the Economic Survey 2025-2026 point wise in simple, clear language with examples and visuals so that by the end, you'll understand India's economic health better than most other people on social media. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fintelligent Investor channel. I'm CA Pratiksha Pai. If you like clear explanations on finance and the economy, hit the like button, subscribe, and let's get started. If you feel that my talking speed is slow, you can watch on a faster speed. The relevant timestamps are also given. So let's dive in. What is economic survey? See, before we jump into numbers, let's quickly understand what is economic survey. Think of it as India's annual report card. It tells us how fast the economy is growing, which sectors are doing well, like agriculture, services, manufacturing, what the government has done in tax, spending, reforms, and what risks and opportunities lie ahead. It is released just before the union budget and sets the context. It answers the question, where are we today and where are we heading? Now, let's go section by section in a clean point wise format with on screen visuals so you can even take screenshots. Stay with me. State of the economy, strong growth momentum. Point 1, the survey says India's growth momentum is strong. Real GDP growth for FY26 is estimated at 7.4% and GVA at 7.3%. For FY27, India is expected to grow between 6.8 to 7.2% despite global headwinds. In plain English, the Indian economy is growing fast and steadily while many big economies are slowing down. Nominal GDP, that is GDP at current prices, is estimated at rupees 357.1 lakh crore for FY26. The three big engines behind this growth are capital accumulation, which means we are investing more in factories, infrastructure, and technology. Labor formalization, which means more workers are coming into formal jobs with PF, ESIC, and taxes. Total factor productivity. Basically, we are using the land, labor, capital, and technology more efficiently. Private consumption and investment together are the main growth drivers. Private consumption is about 61.5% of GDP, whereas investment is around 30% of GDP. So, people are spending and businesses are investing. Both are positive signs. And even though global geopolitical tensions are rising, India is seen as resilient with strong macro fundamentals and continuous reforms. 2. Fiscal developments, credible consolidation. Now, point 2, fiscal developments. Basically, how the government manages income, which is taxes, and expenditure, which is the spending. The survey highlights credible consolidation. That means the government is trying to reduce the fiscal deficit gradually, but without cutting productive spending like infrastructure. Important highlights are that India got sovereign credit rating upgrades in 2025 from agencies like Morningstar, DBRS, S&P, and R&I Japan, which is a positive signal to global investors. Revenue receipts went up from 8.5% to 9.1% of GDP. Non corporate tax collections increased from 2.4% to 3.3% of GDP, meaning more individuals and small businesses are paying taxes. Income tax returns filed rose from 9.2 crore, up from 6.9 crore in 21-22, which is a clear sign of a widening tax base. One big reform is GST 2.0. The survey talks about a simplified two rate structure, 18% standard and 5% merit rate. This is expected to boost consumption, improve manufacturing, and trade. Also, some structural issues in GST could be resolved. E-way bill volume has reached 115 crore in FY26, that is April to December, with a 21% YOY growth, indicating a higher formal trade. And capital expenditure, that is the productive spending, has been scaled up to 4.3% of GDP in FY26 from 2.7%, which was pre pandemic. Point 3 is about monetary policy and financial intermediation. In simple terms, interest rates, bank loans, asset quality, insurance, pensions, and markets. The survey says the monetary transmission has been effective, which means when RBI changes policy rates, it is actually reflecting in bank lending rates. Some very interesting numbers here. The bank credit to micro and small enterprises grew by 24.6% year on year, which is a strong support for small businesses. The asset quality of banks improved, which means the gross NPA and net NPA are at multi decade lows, which means fewer bad loans. Insurance premiums rose from 8.3 lakh crores in FY21 to 11.9 lakh crores in FY25, which means more people are getting insured. Pension coverage is expanding. The Atal Pension Yojana has 641.3 lakh subscribers with an AUM of rupees 44.8 thousand crores. NPS has 198.6 lakh subscribers with an AUM of 1,398.7 thousand crores. In the markets, total resource mobilization, which is equity plus debt, has reached rupees 169.9 thousand crores with 260 IPOs between April and November 2026. There have also been better regulatory developments in banking, capital markets, and insurance. On financial inclusion, schemes like PM Mudra Yojana and PM Swanidhi together have disbursed rupees 36.18 lakh crores across 55.45 crore loan accounts. That's a massive push to small borrowers and street vendors. Point number 4 is external sector. This covers exports, imports, current account, forex reserves, and external debt. The key highlights here are that the merchandise exports were $578.6 billion between April to December 2025, growing at 5.9% YOY. Non petroleum, non gems, and jewelry exports were $371.9 billion with a 9.5% YOY growth. This shows diversification. Services exports have grown at 12.7% CAGR between FY20 and FY25, faster than merchandise exports at 6.9%. In FY25, services exports were $304 billion with a 6.5% YOY growth, whereas service imports were at $152.2 billion with 1.5% YOY growth. So we had a big services trade surplus of $151.7 billion. On trade agreements, India concluded 8 free trade agreements and comprehensive economic partnership agreements in the last 5 years, and 8 more are under negotiation. Current account deficit has moderated to 0.8% of GDP in the first half of FY26 from 1.3% in the same period of FY25. That's quite manageable. Forex reserves have more than doubled from $341.6 billion in FY15 to $701.4 billion as of 16 January 2026. External debt to GDP has fallen to 19.2% at the end of September 2025 from 23.8% in FY15. Import cover, how many months of imports can be paid using reserves, has gone up from 8.9 months in FY15 to 11.1 months in January 2026. The survey also notes that India leads in greenfield digital investment at $114 billion between 2020 and 2024. Point 5 is very relevant for everyday life. Inflation. The survey says headline inflation averaged just 1.7% between April and December FY25, which is the lowest since the current CPI series began. Among major economies, India is recorded as one of the highest reductions in inflation, about 1.8 percentage points decline in 2025. Food inflation has come down significantly due to price contractions. vegetables at minus 18.5%, pulses at minus 15.1%. The core inflation, which excludes the food and fuel, stands at 4.62%, which is influenced largely by precious metals. This benign inflation is supported by good monsoon, moderate inflation in key metals, better stock position of food grains, and GST rationalization. Point number 6 is agriculture and food management. Agriculture's GVA grew at an average of 4.7% between FY20 and FY24. Within this, livestock and fishing are leading the growth at 6.1% and 7.2% respectively. Crop productivity has improved due to various government schemes, and support is coming via input subsidies, income support, and institutional mechanisms. Before going ahead, let me request you, if you feel our videos are knowledgeable, please hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon so that you get timely notifications of all our future videos as well, which we will articulate in a very simple and easy language. Point number 7 is the services sector. This is now the powerhouse of the economy, okay? Services GVA share has increased to 53.6% in the first half of FY26 from 51.3% in the pre-pandemic period. Services PMI is at 58.9 in Q3 FY26, well above its 10-year average of 53.3, indicating strong expansion. Within services, software services grew 13.5% during FY23 to 25. Professional consulting grew at a strong 25.9%. Logistics and connectivity have improved. Port cargo traffic at 672.9 million tons, air cargo at 2.6 million tons, air passenger handling at 275.5 millions, railway freight at 1070.8 million tons. The digital economy is booming. 890 Gen AI startups are registered. Around 1,700 GCCs operate in India. Tourism is back. Domestic visits grew by 17.5% and international arrivals grew by 8.9%. Housing sector sales averaged at 1.013 lakh units in Q2 of FY 25-26. Point 8 is the industry and manufacturing. Manufacturing GVA grew by 9.13% in Q2 FY26, which is a strong number, okay? Medium and high-tech activities now from 46.3% of total manufacturing value added, showing a move towards sophisticated production. Cement capacity is at 690 million tons, with production at 453 million tons in FY25, linked to construction and infrastructure activity. EV registrations are growing at a massive 62.5% CAGR, and mobile manufacturing value has increased almost 30 times. India also has 1.97 lakh DPIIT recognized startups as of October 2025. Point number 9 is investment and infrastructure. This is the backbone. Capital expenditure has scaled from 3.27 lakh crore rupees in FY15 to 15.48 lakh crores in FY26, which is the budget estimates. The power capacity addition between April and November FY26 was 60,260 megawatts. National highway network stands at 1,46,572 kilometers, about 60% more than FY14. Port capacity is now at 2,771 MMT in FY25. Railways added 3,118 km per year between 2014 and 2024 compared to 1,499 km during 2004 to 14. On digital connectivity, BharatNet has extended broadband to 2.14 lakh gram panchayats with 14.07 lakh high-speed broadband connections. Under the Jal Jeevan mission, over 81% of rural households now have access to tap water. Point number 10 is environment and climate, the green energy transition. India has set a target of 100 gigawatt of nuclear power capacity by 2047 with a 20,000 crore rupee allocated in budget 25-26. By 2031 to 32, energy storage requirement is estimated at 411 GWH, important for renewables like solar and wind. The Shanti Act of December 2025 allows private participation in the nuclear sector, Environmental governance is being streamlined through Parivesh 3.0, which is a single window digital clearance system. States are implementing action plans on climate change with district level risk analysis. On finance, frameworks like SEBI's ESG debt norms and sovereign green bonds support green investments. If you are clear till here, comment below growth, jobs, or prices. Which section matters the most to you and why? Point number 11 is education and health, which is the human capital. India has about 25 crore students enrolled across 14.7 lakh schools. The gross enrollment ratio has improved. Grades 1 to 5 90.9%, grades 6 to 8 90.3%, grades 9 to 10 78.7%, and grades 11 and 12 58.4%. The foundational literacy and numeracy has improved sharply. Language proficiency has gone from 39% in 2021 to 57% in 2024. Math proficiency from 42% to 65% in the same period. In higher education, GR has increased from 27.1% in 2019-20 to 29.5% in 22-23. On health, infant mortality rate fell by 37%. Life expectancy is 70.3 years as of 2023. Under Ayushman Bharat, 42.78 crore cards have been generated and over 1.8 lakh Arogya Mandirs are operational. Point number 12 is about employment and skilling, that is, formalizing the workforce. The big reform here is labor codes. 29 labor laws have been consolidated into 4 labor codes enacted on 21st November 2025. Female labor force participation has risen from 23.3% in 2017-18 to 41.7% in 2023-24. Female unemployment has declined from 5.6% to 3.2%. SBI estimates that implementation of labor codes could create about 77 lakh jobs. On skilling, national scheme aims to upgrade 1000 ITIs. PMKVY 4.0 focuses on industry aligned skills in NSQF roles. Innovative financing includes 12 lakh plus DBT stipend transfers under NATS 2.0 and a model skill loan scheme. Point number 13 is rural development, infrastructure, and empowerment. Extreme poverty has fallen to 5.3% in 2022-23. Rural connectivity is almost universal. 99.6% of habitations are connected. Under Har Ghar Jal, 81% of rural households have tap water. About 2.9 crore houses have been constructed. Under Swamitwa, 3.28 lakh villages have been mapped and 2.76 crore property cards have been issued, giving rural families legal proof of property. Schemes like DDU GKY focus on skill development and employment for rural youth. Day NRLM supports self-employment and skilled wage work through women-led SHGs. E-Gram Swaraj provides a unified digital interface to track panchayat activities. Point number 14 is AI ecosystem, which is India's strategic framework. The survey talks about key trade-offs: frontier AI versus practical applications, rapid scale versus inclusion, proprietary versus open source models, big data centers versus local compute, regulation versus innovation. There is a strong emphasis on human capital, earn and learn pathways, apprenticeships integrated with education. Data is treated as a strategic resource with a framework for trusted cross border flows while retaining domestic value. Sector specific AI aims to boost worker productivity and skilled talent availability. Regulation is proposed to be incentive based with menu style compliance options that encourage domestic value creation. Point number 15 is urbanization and city development. India's cities face FSI constraints. For example, Bangalore has an FSI of 4 compared to Tokyo at 20 and Singapore at 25, meaning Indian cities often grow outward instead of upward. Urban mobility is a serious challenge in 2024. Commuters in Bangalore lost 117 hours in rush hour traffic. Mumbai lost 103 hours, Delhi lost 76 hours. At the same time, public transport is expanding. There is a growth in metros, regional rapid transit systems, that is RRTs, and e buses. On waste management, door to door collection covers 98% of urban wards, and waste processing has increased to 80%. Around 2.5 lakh waste collection vehicles are deployed. The survey suggests a future focus on time as a central resource, streets as social infrastructure, and building civic sense. Let's quickly wrap up with the core takeaways. Stay with me for this. It's great revisiting. India's growth story is resilient, expected growth of 6.8% to 7.2% in FY27, with FY26 real GDP around 7.4%. The fiscal consolidation is happening with the focus on quality capex at 4.3% of GDP in FY26. Inflation is tamed at record lows of 1.7% on average during April to December FY25. Services sector is now more than half of the economy, with strong software and consulting growth. Digital economy and startups are booming. 890 Gen AI startups and 1.97 lakh recognized startups. Labor is getting formalized through the four labor codes and higher female participation. Rural development is powered by tech, Swamitwa, tap water, connectivity, SHGs, and digital platforms. External buffers are strong, $701.4 billion forex reserves, and a manageable 0.8% current account deficit. AI and urbanization policies aim to balance growth with inclusion, sustainability, and quality of life. So that was the Economic Survey 2025-26, fully decoded in simple, point-wise form. If you have reached here, you now understand more about India's economy than many people who only read headlines. Please like the video if you felt that the content in the video was useful and helpful, as well as share it with your friends and family to spread the financial literacy. Please subscribe to the Fintelligent Investor channel and turn on the bell icon, because next we'll break down the union budget using the same simple visual style. Thanks for watching. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, stay subscribed, stay connected. Thank you.